Let's run the hurry up. Schefter through some of the big stories. A lot of them, as you mentioned at the top of the show, focusing on quarterbacks in the AFC North, beginning with Lamar.
Didn't practice yesterday, Greeny, an ankle injury. Last week he did not practice on Wednesday due to a knee injury. It turned out to be a situation where they were resting him, getting him ready for Sunday. This sounds like it's a similar situation where they're resting Lamar, keeping him off the ankle on Wednesday, and we think that he'll be back at practice today and certainly expect him to play on Sunday. As for Aaron Rodgers, a big test today. He plans to try to practice despite the fact that he's got a fracture in his left wrist. We'll see how that practice goes. Clearly didn't practice yesterday and wants to play on Sunday in Chicago. Has been pushing to play. If he can't go, Mason Rudolph would start in his place, but he will see how that wrist feels at practice today to get a better understanding of his availability. And the big story on Wednesday was the Bengals listing quarterback Joe Burrow as a full participant in practice. Not only was Burrow a full participant, but the man who has replaced him, Joe Flacco, was listed as a limited participant due to the fact that he's dealing with a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. So, if the starting quarterback named Joe Burrow is a full participant and the backup is a limited participant, that would lead you to believe that there's a chance on Sunday that Joe Burrow will be the full-time starter and Joe Flacco would be the backup. But I think there are some questions that they have to get through today and tomorrow to see whether or not that can happen and Burrow's healthy enough to start on
And you
Sunday.
were adamant at our meeting this morning that this is a very big deal. Why? Talk us through this, because I think there was a moment in time, I will admit, I thought there's no way Joe Burrow comes back this year. Team is terrible. Defense is terrible.
Right.
He's been injury prone.
Well,
the
look,
Bengals,
even with Joe Flacco, this has been a top 5 offense.
Yes.
But it's been a horrendous defense. And I wonder if Burrow's return, whether it's this week or next week, and it certainly looks like this week is in play, would elevate the 32nd ranked defense. Now, our players can better answer whether the return of Burrow would provide some sort of spark to make the defense the 28th rated unit as opposed to 32nd.
Yeah.
But the offense is going to be great. And again, his return would impact the Bengals trying to stay alive. It would impact the Patriots on Sunday, who are trying to stave off the Buffalo Bills. It could potentially impact the Buffalo Bills, who they play in 2 weeks as they try to catch the Patriots in the AFC East. So there are a couple of ramifications to Burrow potentially being back on Sunday.
Let's live in this full screen a second. I want you to see what these next 4 games are. So when I said Joe Burrow could shake up everything in the AFC, he could decide the AFC North and the AFC East in the next month if he plays these games, because he's got the Patriots and the Bills and he's got the Ravens twice. So he can play his way right back into it. What do you think of this, Hawk?
I think the chances are low. Those are 4 really hard games that you have to bank on getting the perfect version of all those teams in order to make that happen.
What does that mean?
He's not going to play defense. He's playing the Patriots, the Ravens twice, and the Bills. These are 3 of the best teams, like talent-wise and record-wise, in the NFL. And yeah, you might feel some kind of a lift and hope, and I think that's what they're looking to provide from Joe Burrow. But, you know, Will Compton at linebacker with no Joe Burrow, with Joe Burrow.
What am I running with Joe Burrow?
You're 4-4 now.
4-4.
Name
I'm
is
covering
Jalen.
backs out of the backfield.
He's manning up on the slot all of
I'm
a
not
sudden.
getting ran through by Darnell Washington. Maybe I'm throwing my body on the line a little
Let
bit.
me ask you an honest question to a defensive player, because Schefter kind of
Jalen
alluded to it. The full screen that we showed you, since Joe Flacco took over, their offense has been great. They're top 5
no
in
issues.
scoring.
Yeah.
They're top 5 in everything. If you were focused, and the defense has been the problem. Does Joe Burrow's return have any impact on that at all?
I mean, I guess if I'm sitting in the meeting room defensively, like, you might be optimistic and hyped that Joey B's returning to full form, but it's not going to help you see pullers execute on defense. Right. I would like to believe in that little bit of hope and optimism we might have in the AFC North. Let's pretend the Bengals are going to win out. They beat the Ravens twice. Ravens beat the Steelers twice. We got a tie ball game here at the end of the season, fellas.
It's the worst defense in the NFL in the last 50 years.
They haven't played well enough to win out.
Listen, I'm trying to give some hope, Daniel.
That's not hyperbole. I mean,
Points
it's
per
literally
game.
that.
Points per game. It's the most points per game given up by a defense in the last 50 years. So, can Joe do it? I've seen him do it before. I've seen him drag this team into relevancy, into meaningful games, into mattering bad team before. If he does it, it will be by far his most impressive feat so far. If they win this weekend against New England, which I think is a long shot, it would be one of the bigger upsets of the season. It makes Thanksgiving Day cinema. because it would be a playoff game between Cincinnati and Baltimore.
The Bengals defense is no better than they were last year. In some ways, they might be worse.
No. It's not some ways.
Yeah, they're worse.
Always.
I don't know if Joe Burrow can play any better than we saw him a year ago, and it didn't matter.
Didn't get them to the
That's my
playoffs.
point.
But I would say I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, and there's a little bit of like hope here. But having your starting quarterback back, does that make one more drive 90 seconds longer or 2 minutes longer?
That's what I'm
meaning
saying.
one possession left for your defense on the field. Can you go and secure one final drive in the fourth quarter to seal a win rather than give the ball back to the opponent for a game-winning drive, like the Chicago game? So it's just I definitely think having that guy, it elevates everybody somewhat.
Someone should mention at some point that their next best player is suspended this week for a ridiculously stupid and disgusting reason. Yeah. I mean, Jamar Chase, the worst. I mean, literally, especially after it happened the first week of the season, for Jamar Chase to blatantly spit on another player and now not be playing in a game that, to your point, every game they play is a playoff game.
No doubt.
If the Bengals, if Burrow is really going to drag them back in, they're going to have to win out, and they're going to have to win this week without Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's a tall task. It would be one of the bigger upsets of the season. I don't expect Cincinnati to win. But if there is a quarterback, there's probably 3 or 4 I think can. He's one of them.
And it's time for another edition of Straight Out of Compton. From Will's mouth to your ears. And for the first one, Will, let's go to Chicago. What do you got to say about the Bears?
I love that the city of Chicago is excited right now. They have a lot to be excited about.
Yeah,
I'm saying the Bears are not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win the division this year, even though they're number one. Very opportunistic defensively. They're still bottom 10 across the board on defense. It could come down to the final week of the season against the Lions to make the playoffs.
So, Dan, a lot of people, friends, family, and my wife are mad at me because I keep saying this. But this Bears season, the success of it, will not be judged by their record. It will be judged by the fact that they have finally done it. That Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have created together the quarterback this franchise has been missing for a century. And the ascension, even if it starts next year rather than this, will be what they've been waiting for.
This past month for Chicago has been the most important month in years. And it's because you've seen every single week Caleb get better at the things he's been bad at. He's created less problems. He's solved more. He's had more answers to what the defense has given him. He's been outstanding in the play action pass, and he's been clutch in some big time moments. There's nothing but good. That's why I said wait till November. There's nothing but good vibes coming out of Chicago strictly because of the way the quarterback's playing.
That's right. And I understand why you can't tell fans it doesn't matter if you make the playoffs. Obviously, they want to see their team win.
Agreed.
But this has been a smashing success either way. All right, the next Straight Out of Compton. Let's stay in the NFC North. What do you got on J.J. McCarthy?
Patience. People are going to hate to hear the word patience, but it is patience with J.J. McCarthy. You're going to have ups and downs for the rest of the season. He's thrown for 53% completion rate, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions in his first 5 games. Another guy to compare that to? Josh Allen had very similar stats in his first 5 starts. So patience with J.J. McCarthy.
So, I mean, Dan brought up, Hawk, the other day, yes, patience, of course. We all know it's 5 games. You can't judge a player on 5 games. But Dan was saying, I mean, the misses were alarming, right? Like the magnitude, how badly he's been missing. It's one thing to miss by a little. He's missing by a lot. Are you alarmed by what you've seen?
I'm not alarmed because I feel like what we're seeing from J.J. McCarthy is fixable. Dan talked about it yesterday on NFL Live. He talked about his mechanics, him having to get more in rhythm and letting his feet tell him where and what to do in the right moment. For J.J., he's been focused so much on coming back from injury, and he is only 5 games into his career. The encouraging part of what we've seen from J.J. is his ability when the stakes get high, he plays his best. That is something that has carried over from college, and you've still even seen it in his first 5 starts. Hang in there. In the offseason, he needs to fix and address some of these mechanical issues, but he absolutely still has a lot of ability.
I feel a lot better about JJ today and yesterday after diving into those misses than I did immediately Monday.
Okay.
We talked about it and broke it down and demoed it yesterday. It's a mechanical thing. He gets far too wide in his step. He flies open with his left shoulder. His shoulders are constantly flat rather than him having some kind of a tilt. And so that's real. Accuracy starts from the ground up. And right now he's poor from the ground up. And I think both injuries are to his right leg. Yep. I think that's attached to not being able to work at it. That is something that's absolutely fixable. And the Josh Allen comp is interesting because JJ is linear right now as a thrower. So was Josh. Instead of being rotational, Josh has become rotational.
That's what I'm seeing too.
Yeah, that's what he was. He was just telling me that. That's crazy because you were just
I was kind of putting
saying almost the same exact thing.
That's wild.
Let's get to the
I stole
last
it from
one.
him.
Will,
hips.
God.
the biggest game, look, there's so much attention being given to the Cowboys and Eagles because they're the Cowboys and the Eagles. But the biggest game this weekend is Chiefs-Colts in so many ways, and what do you expect to happen?
Not only the biggest game this weekend, an American celebration is going to happen. Rome is falling in Kansas City. The dynasty is over. The Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014.
Oh, boy.
The Colts are going to blow them out on Sunday.
Blow 'em out.
Okay,
Blow 'em
that
out.
might be a little
No,
outrageous.
stand on it.
They're going to beat
Stand on
Adam
it.
Schefter.
Stand on it.
They're going to blow them out. This is going to be a double-digit win. Danny Jones is going to hang 40 on these boys.
This is it. So we have been saying since the beginning of the year, oh, the Colts are a great story. Colts are a great story. But if Daniel Jones, when he meets up with Patrick in the playoffs, is he going to be ready for that? Well, guess what? It's Patrick, who we're asking some questions about right now, week 12, that absolutely has to win this game. You look at every single metric, playoff number. The Chiefs have to win this game if they're going to make the playoffs.
And who is the one guy that did beat him in the postseason? Who's the one guy that has had some success? Lou Anarumo, when he was the Bengals defensive coordinator.
Oh.
He's now in Indianapolis. He's now working for the Colts. They're coming off a bye. He's got extra time to get ready for Mahomes and the Chiefs. Again, Mahomes and the Chiefs have gotten the best of Lou Anarumo at times, but there aren't many defensive coordinators who have done a better job of slowing down that quarterback and that offense than the Colts defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas City defensively can stop Tyler Warren. And I would just caution everybody, giving Egbuka the Offensive Rookie of the Year award immediately. He's been outstanding.
Ted McMillan would like to have a word, too,
Yeah,
by the
true.
way.
They can't cover Warren. I think the way that the Indianapolis Colts use him is outstanding. He's one of those guys that you can dump a screen off to him and all of a sudden 25 yards later because he's so good with the ball in his hands. They'll use him in their run game. If you use him in your run game, you can then use him in your action game. Players over plays, moments. You can throw him balls with the contested catch, his ability to just make strong catches. I think you got to match up with him, size, physicality, ball skills. You can give it to him short, and he could just be physically more dominant than other people. And then down the field, this is where I think Kansas City is going to struggle. You play against Kansas City, throwing to the tight end. Teams this year are 44 for 52, throwing to their tight end against Kansas City's defense. This young man is a special talent. Think of Dalton Kincaid and what he did a couple weeks ago against this Kansas City defense. I think Tyler Warren has a massive day and leads the Colts to a win as well.
Let me put a number to this, Cindy, if we could see C27. I mean, the Chiefs, I told you the other day, they have to win out in order to assure themselves of a playoff spot. Otherwise, they will need some help. If they lose this game on Sunday, their chances of making the playoffs drop to 36%. That's the playoffs. This is a team that's been in the last 3 Super Bowls, and they will have only a 36% chance to make the playoffs. Who do you expect to win this game?
I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. He's never lost 3 in a row. They understand their backs are against the wall, and I feel like in most times in those situations, he plays at his best. Even if you look at it schematically, offensively, there were big throws last week for the Kansas City Chiefs that they didn't connect on, that they have to connect on. One to Xavier Worthy, one to Thornton down the field. And I think when you have their kind of receiving core and weapons on the outside, including Travis Kelce, it's receiver by committee, but each portion of the field needs to execute. They didn't do that down the field, which is why the whole thing kind of crumbled.
This is where everybody's going to be. Next week, it's going to be I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes because he's never went 0-4 in his career. Like sports books, everybody still got Chiefs favored to win the Super Bowl and everything.
Right.
Like it.
It's over.
You're believing what your eyes are seeing.
This goes beyond football.
Last week's game wasn't close.
Families need to prepare in Kansas City for Thanksgiving feasts and start having conversations that their Chiefs are no longer going to be in the playoffs this year. Families need to prepare for Christmas that their children are going to be asking for Bo Nix jerseys and not Patrick Mahomes. That is where we were getting to, fellas.
Now we are talking. Look, I mean, Graziano was here the other day. He covered that game. And he said, just standing on the sideline, the Broncos were just better than them. We kept waiting. Oh, Patrick's going to do this. The Broncos look like a better team. Some of these teams look better. We'll see if Indy looks better than them.
And I'll tell you
Sunday.
this, it's the most athletic offensive line Kansas City has played all year.
This is the, yeah.
And I know we're supposed to take them one at a time, but Thanksgiving is a week from today.
Dallas.
And that Dallas Cowboys-Chiefs matchup is awfully appetizing. And when you play in Dallas, you get a different Cowboys team than you do on the road. That's not going to be
Playing in Dallas, coming off of a win against Philadelphia, too, mind you.
Whoa.
So now we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But this Sunday's game is a monster. Also this Sunday, we will see Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders making his first career NFL start in Vegas against the Raiders, starting in relief of fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel, who's in the league's concussion protocol after their loss against the Ravens. Here was Shedeur yesterday about his highly anticipated first NFL start.
I know our fans have a lot of expectations and hope, and I would be doing a disservice to myself and disservice to the organization if I didn't feel like I am the guy. I'm just excited for everything. So, I feel like I'm the guy. I know I'm the guy, but, you just have to be able to see. The game got to speak.
You know what? I think that's actually exactly the right thing for him to say. There is no player in recent memory about whom more words have been spoken with less things actually happening on a football field. Now we will finally get to see him on the field.
To me, this is his chance to make a statement that we've waited to have him make since draft night. To all the people that passed him up on draft night, to all the reasons he didn't get snaps with the first team offense, to the organization that may not have supported him the way that other people thought. Well, here's your chance. You get the whole week practicing with the first team. You're playing the Raiders, a beatable team. You get the start. It's your show. Let's see what you got on Sunday.
Dan, why do you look skeptical?
Temper expectations. The Browns are bad. They are, at talent-wise, they're probably one of the 3 worst talented offenses in the NFL. So let's not expect that Shedeur is going to step onto the field against a Max Crosby defense that I agree is not good, but it's still Max Crosby, and all of a sudden light the world on fire. They don't have a good receiving group. They don't have a good offensive line. What you want to see from Shedeur, can you handle the huddle? Can you operate? Can you play quick and clean? And then can you move up in the pocket? If I see that indifferent of the result, I think that's a
whatever
good start.
the result, but this is his chance to show whatever it is, what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not a fair chance. It's not life in the NFL is not fair, but it's not a chance. My thing is this. If he struggles, people are going to go, told you Shedeur stinks. No, any quarterback's going to stink in Cleveland.
Right, yeah, they're going to be in Pittsburgh specifically because that was a Pittsburgh accent. But around the Shedeur Sanders thing, Kevin Stefanski is truly in a no-win situation because, to your point, if he plays bad, then it's a bad situation. The worst thing that could probably happen for Kevin Stefanski is if he goes out there and balls, because then it's going to be,
where's this been?
Why hasn't he played from the very beginning? And that's why I can't wait to see him play.
Just everyone bookmark this. The next time a team takes 2 quarterbacks in the same draft, just point back to this. It never made sense. It doesn't make sense. The way they've handled whatever. I have no idea how good Shedeur Sanders is or isn't, what his lot in life is to be or isn't. But the way they've handled this situation from the very beginning has been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, organizational malpractice, and it's all going to start over again there after this regardless. I hope Shedeur Sanders plays well one way or the other. Quickly, what do you expect?
I'm not tempering expectations. I got him throwing for 250. I got him on this is Garmin right here, but I got him throwing for a couple.
Throw that Garmin up.
250.
Throw that Garmin up.
I'm excited for the young man because it's somebody.
See, this
I'm just saying.
What's wrong with people, man?
I'm saying I'm rooting for him because I didn't get drafted. I was somebody buried on a depth chart, and like sitting back and seeing it unfold. I could have been on the other side of the fence at this point, but you always know that your moment is going to come, your opportunity is going to come. Yeah. He has it this weekend. Gets all the practice reps this week. Gets to prepare. I'm excited for him. I hope he balls out.
Yeah, it reminds me when Manziel started, which was a wild experience.
All right.